Hi, welcome to Living Clean Podcast, the show to help you feel good again. I'm your host, Bonnie Wilderson Hayes. I'm a speaker, certified holistic nutritionist, and founder of Living Clean's healthy lifestyle transformation and nutrition programs. Each week, we will destroy myths and share the truth about the food you are buying and consuming, and provide insight into the best food programs to avoid slowing you down. My purpose is to help you enjoy food again and finally achieve the results that you want. I believe that everyone deserves to enjoy mouth-watering, good-for-you food that doesn't send you running for relief. Now, let's get started. Hey everyone, it's Bonnie. This week we are going to talk about how food is not our enemy. It becomes pretty second nature to start to fear food, start to fear what's on your plate when you're trying to figure out what's happening with your body, and it seems like just about everything you eat either makes you sick or makes you hurt. There are some strategies that can help prevent that, and especially when you're trying to figure out what's happening, this is really important because food's nourishment. Food is our foundation. Our cells cannot live without food and water. It's just one of those fundamental, vital things that our bodies need. Without nutrients, we don't move, our muscles don't grow, we really become stagnant and are unable to do anything. If we're malnourished, it causes significant other issues, and since you're already trying to figure out what's happening, or you had figured it out, and now you've got to try and learn to live with this as normally as possible, without letting it take over your life, you know, it's important to kind of put strategies together so that in the end, when you do figure out what's happening, you do figure out how to live, your life feels normal again, you're not sitting there at the table and fearing what's coming out, you know, or what you're eating. It happens rather quickly too, I have to say. I didn't really understand or know to look for the fear, to be aware of it, to be cognizant of the fact that it will happen. And, you know, it's just a natural reaction by our subconscious to try and protect us. Now, our subconscious learns from our conscious, and our conscious learns from our subconscious, right? So what our subconscious learns is in our conscious brain, we go, oh, we want that brownie. We eat that brownie, we get sick. If you do that frequently enough, your subconscious is going to look and go, okay, that has milk, that has eggs, that has chocolate, that has flour. And now all of a sudden you're fearing your scrambled eggs. You may not have an egg allergy, but now you're fearing your scrambled eggs. So what your body ends up doing is it actually creates fears that may or may not make sense to our conscious mind, but ultimately all it's trying to do is protect us. So how do you overcome those fears? How do you reset those learned reactions, you know, those protections, when it's so deeply subconscious? There's actually a couple of things that you can do. So while you're trying to figure out what is happening, if you're not getting results from testing, or you can't afford testing, start logging. Log what you're eating, log your reactions, your body reactions. If you sweat, whether it's after you eat or during exercise or just because it is hot as all get out there, how does it smell? Is there a lot of sweat? You know, is it more than normal? Is it your usual amount? Do you feel just like a drowned rat and, you know, it's only 80, 90 degrees out? Things like that. And this is going to sound rather gross, so, you know, if you're sensitive, then close your ears, but pay attention to anything leaving your body, meaning your bowel movements, your urine. Ladies, that does include your period and secretions from ovulation or throughout the month. You know how every once in a while you just kind of have it. So pay attention to those. Are they normal? With your bowel movements, do they float? Is it dense? What color is it? And keep in mind, if you have had charcoal, it will turn black, so you're not allowed to freak out if you've had activated charcoal at any given point in time, 3 days prior to that bowel movement. But those things you want to pay attention to. They're signals that tell us what is happening with your body, what it's expelling. And when you pair those symptoms along with your food log, you can actually figure out what's happening. And that knowledge, first and foremost, will help you overcome the fears that develop while you are kind of going through this discovery process. So a couple of tips I have for you. I have 4 major ones, really. The first involves going out to dinner, because, I'm sorry, but food allergy or not, health nut or not, at some point you will be at a restaurant with friends, with family, and you're not going to be the only one sitting there not eating or not drinking. So what do? Nowadays, most restaurants are very cognizant, they're very mindful, and they are very considerate of allergies. It's because it's come out that they are so serious and that some people have anaphylaxis reactions. They're very aware of it, and they want to make sure to take care of the people that come in and eat with them. If you're in a restaurant that does not do this, leave, because that means that's how they're treating their food too, and I don't like eating crappy food. So I'm assuming you don't either. So avoid the places that are like, whatever, because that means that they're whatever with just about everything, and I go out to eat so I can just not have to worry about cooking. Not so that I can eat crappy food. So anyway, first things first, when you go out to a restaurant, I don't care how many people are sitting around the table, make sure to let your waiter or waitress know that you have a food allergy or you have a reaction to certain foods. Those of you with autoimmune disorders and inflammation conditions may not have an allergy. It may be a sensitivity, but it may not be a sensitivity to the degree that it actually shows up on a food allergy test. It just causes inflammation in your body. It's a condition. You want to let the waiter or waitress know. They put an alert on your meal. When you look through the menu, if you don't see anything that you can order easily that you want, which, trust me, I do it. I know everybody else does it. You go to a restaurant and you're like, all right, what can I order that doesn't take 10 minutes to explain? How do I do this? We all do it. It's second nature at this point. But I remember thinking this is bullshit. And yes, it is, but, as a health nut, I would do the same damn thing. So, it's just one of those things. So go through the menu. If you don't find something that you can eat, think outside the box. Look at what their ingredients are. Like if you see a salmon dish and you're like, oh, that looks good, but I can't have the sauce. You can have the sides, you can't have the sauce. Perfect. Order it, no sauce. Or ask them if they have a sauce that could replace that accommodates your food needs. You would be very surprised. Most places that may not be on the menu, but they have things available. So open up, ask, talk with your waiter or waitress. Believe me, most places nowadays, they're so receptive to that. And they love when you bring things like that to their attention. Something that you may not know is now when you mention to a restaurant or a service provider that you have an allergy or a reaction to a substance, whether it be food or topical, like you go to a massage therapist or you go to get a facial, for instance, if you tell them that you're allergic to a substance, they are not supposed to use it, and here's why. Once you mention it to the person providing service to you, the venue now becomes liable for your safety. They do not want you sick, they do not want you hurt, and they certainly do not want to have to call 911 because they served you something, you ate it, and you went into an anaphylactic shock or passed out. I've had clients who actually pass out when they eat certain foods. That being said, the minute you notify your waiter or waitress, they're not going to make a big deal of it. They're not going to, put you on a spotlight. A lot of us are introverts, striving to be extroverts. I'm complete opposite. But, even as an extrovert, I don't want to be the spotlight of every table I go to. I just want to order my food, have fun with my friends and my family, and, have a normal day, normal night out with everybody. So The way that I get around that, the way that I make sure it's not a big deal is I just, act like it's nothing. I have a food allergy. I can't have this and this. Here's what I want to order. Can you just make sure the kitchen knows that there's an allergy? It's easy. It's simple. Once you get used to doing it, I promise you, it's no big deal. So what happens if you're going to a party? You don't know what's being served. God knows I have gone to many parties, family parties included, where I could not eat anything. And I made the mistake of not eating something before I went. Now, I am one of those people that if you do not feed me in 4 hours, I am a biatch. Beyond anything. My friends, my husband, my close family members, everyone knows, feed me in 4 hours or else. So we have had to actually quietly leave and come back so that I could get something because I screwed up and I didn't eat before I left. Well, that suggestion also goes with eating and living a healthy lifestyle. So this is not just specific to people who have food allergies and reactions. This is something that you should do no matter what. So before I go to any party, I typically have at least a salad. It doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes I'll have one of my bars and, I eat that on the way. It's easy to eat in the car, so it's no big deal. And that kind of coincides with my next tip, which if you're going to a friend or family member's house for dinner, for instance, they've invited you over for dinner, and you're not real sure about what they're cooking, and you don't want to be rude and not eat. Make a dish that accommodates your food allergies that you can share. Some people just don't know how easy it is to make food that tastes delicious that can actually accommodate your food allergies. Not having them, really kind of hinders your understanding of how to prepare for you. It can be overwhelming. For those of you who are trying to figure out what's happening with your bodies, the minute you get your diagnosis, feel free to call me because that overwhelming feeling hits you then too. I have been in this field for 15 years and I just got my latest allergy test probably I think it's been about a month and a half now. And the minute I got my list, I went into overwhelming shock. How do I do this? What do I do? Oh my God, how am I going to eat this way? And my job is to teach you how to do that. And that instant feeling, it's not controllable. It's not something that you can control. So taking a dish, sharing it with other people, and introducing your friends and your family to these delicious dishes that you prepare at home is a great way to kind of start educating the people closest to you how to feed you and how they can do something very simple that helps feed everybody as well. So it's not an added expense. It's something that you're more than willing to provide. You can also, if you're an entertainer, and I do this all the time, I love having people over to the house. So what I do is I'll have everyone over, and everything that I make is gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free. Now, keep in mind, I have a lot of friends who have a lot of food allergies. One of the joys of doing what I do is I tend to collect people like this because, that they wanted friendly advice, and I helped, and now we're friends. So it happens. So making a dish, taking it with you, and like I said, if you are on the journey of discovery, and you get your report or you get answers and you're overwhelmed, reach out, whether it's to me or someone else. I'm happy to talk to anybody. So reach out to me, ask questions. I will talk you through the overwhelming, because once you kind of sit and take a deep breath and really logically look at it and simplify a lot of things that are in our recipes and in our world from a food and meal perspective, it's actually not that bad. Now, my final suggestion to you is once you figure out what is happening, the best thing you can do is research. If you get that done up front, then it gives you educational foundation for your condition, your allergies, and your needs, and how they connect with what you desire and what you want. Okay, that's kind of where people like me come in. We help you connect those dots. But if you put that work up front, rather than going, okay, here's my food allergies, I'm just going to take my list everywhere I go, it doesn't feel as overwhelming. It doesn't feel as dooming, because you get those lists sometimes, or you get a diagnosis, and especially those of you dealing with autoimmunity. I have a health partner, basically, who she's slowly becoming a friend, and I love talking with her because she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and up to that point she was a health coach who taught people how to get healthier using natural means, letting go of the pharmaceuticals that are unnecessary, the ones that are not vital to your existence, that can be replaced by a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet. And then here she was with this autoimmune disorder, and a lot of times you go into the doctor and they give you a ton of prescriptions to manage all of the symptoms, because there are a lot of symptoms that are associated with autoimmunity. Everybody is different, and one symptom leads to another symptom. They all kind of boil down to the fact that you are in pain, you are uncomfortable, and a lot of times you don't know what throws or triggers an acute symptom. And when you experience one, it knocks you out for 3 to 7 days. And this woman stepped up and she figured out how to use herbs, so Western herbal medicine, some traditional Chinese medicine as well, and uses her diet and her lifestyle to manage her condition. So at some point in the next couple of weeks, she will be on this podcast, because I want to share her story with you guys. I want her to share what she does and how she kind of manages her world, because I think it's valuable information. And if you can apply it to your life, that's what this podcast is all about, is taking these things and applying them to your life. So the research she was able to do at the very beginning led to her being able to help others do exactly the same thing. There is no one size fits all with any of this. If you're going to try and manage the fear that comes, because that definitely happens to all of us, using these suggestions, making sure to notify your waiter or waitress of your food allergy, have a salad or a munchie or something before you go to a party, so that even if they don't have food there, you've eaten, you're okay. Bring a dish to a friend or family member's house when you have dinner, or you're going for a barbecue or whatever. Start educating them about the things that they can make. Because a lot of people, if they invite you over, they want to be cordial. They want to be hosts and hostess, and they want to do something special for you. So start teaching them. Bring a dish. I don't care if it's the same one everywhere you go. If you have a favorite and it's easy to make and you love doing it, by all means do it. And lastly, and definitely not the least important of any of these, is research. Get that research going. Know and understand and learn what you need and how those connect, how your needs connect to your wants. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this helped you. If you have questions, if you have comments, this is definitely a relatively new podcast, so positive, negative, I want to hear your feedback. This podcast is designed to help you, so let me know what I can do to help you and improve this podcast so that it can help you and help others. Thank you so much again for listening. I look forward to seeing you soon. Talk with you later.
Thank you for listening. Did you love this episode? If so, share this with a friend or someone you think would find it helpful. Leave a review on iTunes, Anchor, Stitcher, or Google Play, and let me know your honest thoughts, questions, and takeaways. Not a fan? I'd still love to hear your feedback. Disagree with anything you've heard? I would love to hear your experience on social media. If you feel like you're still struggling with your health goals, send me a message or check out livingclean.com for details about our nutrition and well-being programs for busy lifestyles. Stop struggling and start enjoying food again. See you next time.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.